Witch Watch, a 2025 fantasy rom-com anime adapted from Kenta Shinohara's Shonen Jump manga by Biberi Animation Studios, follows Nico Wakatsuki, a teenage witch in training, and her ogre familiar, Morihito Otogi, as they navigate magical mishaps and a looming prophecy of doom. Episode 4, titled Kanshi Kazumitsuri, the Tengu, aired on April 27, 2025, and introduces a new character, Kanshi, while hinting at darker threats. I'm intrigued by how this episode blends the series' signature humor with a subtle shift toward tension, but I'm curious to see if it can balance its lighthearted tone with the narrative depth it promises. Episode 4 centers on the arrival of Kanshi Kazumitsuri, a Tengu descendant and Nico's childhood friend, who claims to be her new bodyguard. Morihito, already protective of Nico, clashes with Kanshi due to ancestral animosity between Tengus and ogres. The two bicker over their roles as Nico's protectors, but their rivalry is interrupted when a faceless antagonist possesses Nico's clothes to kidnap her. Kanshi and Morihito team up, using Kanshi's wind powers to send Morihito flying to destroy the enchanted clothes, saving Nico. The episode ends on a lighter note with Kanshi and Morihito bonding over a Yu-Gi-Oh duel, hinting at a budding friendship. Episode 4 advances the overarching narrative by introducing Kanshi as a new ally and complicating the dynamics around Nico's protection. The mention of a prophecy, Nico's potential death within a year, as established in earlier episodes, gains traction with the appearance of a mysterious antagonist, suggesting external threats are closing in. This marks a turning point as the series begins to weave its comedic premise with the darker undertones of the prophecy, fulfilling its role in the arc by expanding the cast and hinting at future conflicts. However, I think the episode raises more questions than it resolves, such as the antagonist's identity and motives, keeping the central mystery alive but slightly vague. The pacing feels balanced, with the first half focusing on Kanshi and Morihito's rivalry and the second delivering a brief but tense action sequence. I really appreciate how the episode avoids dragging, though I personally don't understand why the antagonist's threat wasn't explored further. It felt like a rushed resolution to an otherwise intriguing setup. Kanshi Kazumitsuri, voiced by Kohei Amasaki, and Morihito, voiced by Ryota Suzuki, take center stage, with Nico playing a more passive role. Kanshi's carefree, pleasure-seeking personality as a Tengu contrasts with Morihito's stoic diligence, revealing new facets of both. Kanshi's backstory, his father's jealousy of ogre's media prominence, like in Demon Slayer, adds depth to his one-sided rivalry, while his willingness to protect Nico shows a loyal streak. Morihito, previously depicted as endlessly selfless, reveals a lonelier side, as noted in reviews on CBR, with Kanshi becoming his first friend outside his duty to Nico. This growth is evident when Morihito, despite his initial annoyance, works with Kanshi to save Nico, showing a willingness to trust others. Nico, however, feels underutilized. Her role as the comedic catalyst is sidelined, and I'm against how the episode doesn't explore her reaction to the kidnapping attempt, missing a chance to deepen her character beyond her clumsy witch persona. The character's actions align with their established traits, but I think Nico's lack of agency is a step back from her development in prior episodes. The episode reinforces themes of friendship and acceptance, core to Witch Watch's identity. Kanshi and Morihito's evolving bond, culminating in their Yu-Gi-Oh duel, highlights how friendship can bridge ancestral divides, a message underscored by their teamwork to save Nico. Acceptance is also evident in their unabashed embrace of their magical identities, as seen in Kanshi's pride as a Tengu, reflecting the series' broader narrative of fitting into a modern world while staying true to oneself. These themes are conveyed through the characters' interactions, like Kanshi's playful jabs at Morihito's ogre heritage and their eventual camaraderie. However, I don't think the episode fully explores the emotional weight of their loneliness, which could have added depth to their newfound friendship, especially given Morihito's isolated past. The episode expands the magical lore by introducing the Tengu-ogre rivalry, rooted in folklore, as Kanshi explains his father's resentment toward ogre's media fame. This adds a layer of historical tension to the world, showing how magical beings navigate their identities in modern Japan. The faceless antagonist hints at a larger threat tied to Nico's prophecy, suggesting a magical underbelly that contrasts with the series' slice-of-life tone. I think this world building is engaging, but I didn't like the lack of clarity around the antagonist, which feels like a tease rather than a substantial addition. The dialogue shines in its humor, particularly Kanshi's quip about ogres in Demon Slayer, "My dad's jealous of their screen time," which lands as a clever Shonen Jump reference. Morihito's deadpan responses, like his blunt, "I don't care about Tengus," add to the comedic dynamic. However, some lines, like Kanshi's vague warning about an enemy within the school, feel cliché and underdeveloped. The writing excels in pacing the rivalry and action, but I'm against its reliance on convenient resolutions, like the quick defeat defeat of the antagonist, which undercuts the tension. Overall, the script is amusing but lacks the narrative depth promised by the prophecy. Biberi Animation Studios delivers consistent animation, with the action sequence, Morihito soaring through the air to destroy Nico's clothes, showcasing fluid movement and dynamic energy. The direction uses tight framing during Kanshi and Morihito's arguments, emphasizing their tension, while wide shots during the action sequence highlight the scale of their teamwork. Kohei Amasaki as Kanshi delivers a standout performance, his playful tone capturing the Tengu's carefree nature, especially in lines like, "Tengus deserve better." Ryota Suzuki's Morihito is suitably gruff, though I think his emotional range feels limited in quieter moments. Episode 4 evokes amusement and mild tension, with Kanshi and Morihito's bickering providing laughs and the kidnapping attempt adding a brief thrill. The most memorable moment is their Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, a delightful callback to Shonen Jump's legacy that left me smiling. The episode prompts reflection on how friendships can overcome differences, though its lighter tone doesn't linger deeply. I think it leaves a fun impression, but I'm frustrated by the missed opportunity to explore the emotional stakes of Nico's prophecy. Episode 4 of Which Watch excels in delivering humor and introducing Kanshi as a lovable addition, with strong animation and voice acting enhancing its charm. The themes of friendship and acceptance are well served by the new dynamic, and the Shonen Jump references add a nostalgic flair. However, I didn't like the rushed resolution of the antagonist's threat, which limits the narrative depth, and Nico's sidelining feels like a step back for her character. Overall, the episode achieves its goal of expanding the cast and hinting at darker stakes, making it a successful, if uneven, installment. I anticipate the series will lean into the prophecy's tension in future episodes, hopefully balancing its comedic roots with more emotional depth. For fans of lighthearted rom-coms with a magical twist, Episode 4 is a delightful watch, even if it doesn't fully cast its spell.